I love lessons like lesson 48, which is very, very simply whole numbers, which means we won't have any fractions or decimals, whole numbers in expanded notation. A nice, simple, easy lesson. Whole numbers in expanded notation. Before I write anything, let me remind you that we've talked about sometimes numbers can be written like an accordion, where you have them squished together and they say a little name, and it's easy, or it looks longer and bigger and is all pulled out like the accordion. Well, that would be the same thing with the way you look at the numbers. We could say the number is 308, which is like the small accordion size. I would then look and say I can spread it out by taking each digit times its place value. So I would say 3 times 100, because 100, that's the place value, plus, I can do either 0 times 10, or I can just leave that out, plus 8 times 1. And that, my dear students, is expanded notation. I've taken a number as simple as 308, and I broke it up into its pieces. 3 is in the 100s place, so 3 times 100, plus 0 is in the tens place, so 0 times 10, plus 8 is in the ones place, 8 times 1. So I've stretched it out, but I haven't changed the number at all. It's just the number times its place value, plus the next number times its place value, plus the next number times its place value. And right there is the entire lesson. We'll take a look at a couple other examples just to make sure you've got everything, but that is really how simple this lesson is. Okay, if we were to take the number 5,600, that is just the number written out. Actually, that's what's called written in standard form. If I was to put it in expanded notation, notice the parentheses. If you don't have the parentheses, it would be wrong. 5 is in the thousands place, so 5 times 1,000, plus, parentheses again, 6 is in the hundreds place. And I'm done. Again, let me point out with this one, if you don't have parentheses, then you would be marked wrong. So make sure you always include the parentheses and the addition sign. How about another one? We'll go a little more complicated since that one's pretty easy. How about 75,234 in expanded notation? Well, pretty simple. 7 is in the 10,000th position. Parentheses, don't forget, plus the 5 is in, whoops, it's easy to make little mistakes on simple things. The 5 is in the thousands place, plus the 2 is in the hundreds place, plus the 3 is in the tens place, plus the 4 is in the ones place. So, again, don't forget a couple key things. Don't forget your parentheses. Don't forget your plus signs. And you just can tell the place value is the same as your original number. So just be careful. Don't make careless mistakes like you almost saw me do with the 5. And this will be a pretty easy lesson. Now, before we do some practice, I just want to throw it in reverse a little bit and make sure you can go from standard form to, from expanded form to standard form. We've been looking at standard, the basic numbers, and then you've written them out expanded. Now we're going to go in reverse. So if I said, 3 times 100 plus 2 times 1. That's an expanded form. Could you write for me that number in standard form? If you were to do it, it would end up with 3 in the hundreds place, nothing in the tens place, and 2 in the ones place. So this is standard form right there. This one up here would be called expanded form. You just tell the expanded form is the stretched out version of the number, where standard form is just the basic number itself. All right, let's try some practice. Let's do A, and you give me expanded form for 56. So if you were to write that in expanded form, don't forget, whoops, sorry about that. 5 is in the tens place, plus 6 is in the ones place. So that would be your expanded form. Check. Do you have your parentheses on both sides? Check. Do you have your plus sign in the middle? All of those things are needed for this to be correct. All right, try letter B. Give me the expanded form for 5,280. That's the standard form. You give me the expanded form. And hopefully yours looks just like this. 5 times 1,000 because it's in the thousands place, plus 2 times 100 because it's in the hundreds place, plus 8 times 10 because it's in the tens place. I don't have to have the 0 in there because it's equal to 0, so I don't need to multiply 0 times 1. One more, doing it, you writing expanded will kick this one up just a notch more, and let's see, 250,000 in expanded form. May look complicated, but it really is going to be pretty simple if you're careful. Should have 2 times 100,000. Again, you can always check. You should have the same zeros after as you would have after the number. So here's my 2, 2, 3, 4, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 2 times 100,000 plus 5 times 10,000. And you're done. So those are simple. Let's do a couple the other way where you go from expanded form to standard form. Okay, for the last two, I went ahead and wrote them out already since I had to do all the writing. For the expanded form, you give me the standard form of D. You don't have to write these numbers out, just give me the standard form. And for D, it should be 6 in the thousands place. There is nothing in the hundreds place. 4 in the tens place. Now this is where you have to be careful. There is nothing in the ones place. It's very, very easy to forget that last 0, but you would say then 4 times 10 is 40. So notice I'm actually having to write the 40. And the last one, notice I skipped E. We're going to do this one. Go ahead and write it out in standard form. In this case, I have 80,000, because 8 times 10,000, 4 times 1,000. Now, this one's a little more obvious. You actually have to have the 4 times the 1,000. If I just leave it 84, obviously that's not right. I have to have 3 zeros after it because there were 3 zeros after my 1. So that would be your answer. I would say the thing to be careful for when you're writing in expanded form is making sure you have your parentheses and your plus sign. Also check your place values. When you are going from expanded to standard, watch what you are multiplying by at the end so you don't forget to add the appropriate number of zeros. And that's all we have for today. Make sure you've made any notes if you've got questions about things, and we will tackle it tomorrow in class. Have a great night.